Well, time to finally stop delaying this video. In July of last year, I made a video turning Roblox YouTubers into Skylanders cause I can. The reason for this was because I felt a nostalgia for the franchise known as Skylanders. Skylanders is a franchise that was best known for its take on the toys-to-life genre of video games. It utilized figures you would place onto the Portal of Power to access the world of Skylands with your Skylanders. A similar idea is still being used today by Nintendo with their amiibos. But Skylanders is special to me. It's one of the first franchises I'd ever grown attached to, and to know it's practically gone makes me sad. However, the community has kept it alive, which has led to a small revival and interest for this franchise, which in turn inspired me to create my initial video. I was planning on making part 2 in December of last year. However, I lost motivation due to a mix of holiday stress and other factors, including factors relating to Roblox that I don't need to tell you about. However, I am now going to finish this video and bring you part 2! And this time, I have more to show you. So let's dive in! To start off with our collection of YouTubers, here is our good friend Albert Flamingo, represented by his character Cleetus. And the element of choice is the earth element. The reason for this is because, well, Cleetus is a farmer, kind of. And farmers tend to work with, the ground, you know? Yeah, that's my reasoning. As for his recolor, I went with this evil looking version of Cleetus, with his red outfit and evil smile. Ooh, yeah! Moving on, the next person on my list is Temprist. I gave him the water element as a reference to Maldark's icy lair, and ice is just frozen water. If you want to know why I went for this reference, I suggest you watch Temprist's video, This Roblox Hat Changed My Life, to understand the reference. As for his alternate colors, I turned him into a block of ice! If you're wondering why Gunter is there, when I imported his avatar, I noticed it was hidden inside Temp's head, so I made it an element of the figure. Hopefully, Gunter wasn't his brain. Next up on my list is our first digital artist, Fully Gruely, and I went with the magic element as art is a form of magic. No, seriously. The talent Fully, and of course all the creators featured, have is amazing. How did they do it? Anyways, I gave Fully a slightly unique design by giving him a custom face, and I centered the art aspect of his figure around painting in specific. For his recolor, I didn't really know what to do at first, but then I decided to go hollow. Or hollow, sorry. Personally, I think the colors look very cool and help to make the figure look a lot better. And next on my list is our second digital artist, Polar Cub. And I also gave her the magic element the same reason I gave Fully the magic element, although I centered the art theme more around digital art than painting. I gotta represent all art forms. For the recolor, I decided to make her purple, as I feel pink and purple go together pretty well. And I am totally not biased towards the color purple. No siree. Alright, next up is an animator, the Humaniac. I gave him the undead element for 2 reasons. 1, his character does kind of look a little skeleton-y. And 2, I'm pretty sure the character is canonically dead in the current series, so I dug him back up. For the alternate colors, I decided to swap out the gold for silver, giving him a more undead appearance, and of course, silver, depending on who you ask, is an opposite to the color gold. Continuing on, next up is the generic. Now, I wasn't sure which version of the J to go for. This one seems to be the main Sona, but this one also seemed to be the main Sona as well. So I just went with both of them. Oh, and they both have the tech element, as the two of them are robots. I had to rebuild/remake the characters from scratch, so they may not be entirely accurate to their original designs, and I gave one of them a custom face using unions instead of a 2D drawing. And for the recolors, I just swapped their color palettes around. Yeah! Remember Jaden from the last video and how I mentioned a darker version of him? Well, here he is! Darksea. And I gave him the magic element. Now the reason for this...
Wait, Galactic! Shouldn't he be the dark element? He is literally named Darksea!
Why yes, random person I made up in my head. He probably should have the dark element. But in my mind, it wouldn't feel right as I didn't give anyone the light element. Spoilers for the rest of the video. So there isn't a balance in my mind. So I went with the magic element instead, as it's the second most logical element to give him, considering his affinity for portals and whatnot. As for the recolor, similar to how last time I gave Jaden Darksea's colors, I decided to give Darksea Jaden's colors. Symmetry, my friend! Next up is Chaos Man, one of the characters from Brown 890's series, and the father of the three Browns. I gave him the fire element, as his character is pretty heavily associated with the element. For his recolor, I made him blue as I thought it would look nice, and fire can turn blue if it gets even hotter than it already is. The next 3 figures on my list are going to be based off of Roblox developers, and to start us off is Stickmaster Luke, the icon behind Natural Disaster Survival. I gave him the air element as 1. His character has very large wings, and aside from the dominance, it is one of the most defining parts of his avatar. And 2, in Natural Disaster Survival, you're probably going to see a lot of people in the air due to the balloon item as disaster reigns below. As for his recolor, I did something similar with Luke as I did with the Humaniac, except here I swapped out the silver with a more gold or yellow color scheme. And next up is Sheriff Taco, the developer of the game Spray Paint. I gave him the tech element, as the game is very technically impressive. And his avatar, at least at the time I was making this, has a somewhat military-esque appearance, which could be seen as a techie. I also incorporated spray painting into the figure because he's the dev of spray paint, and I gotta represent art forms. For his recolor, I went with this red and black Deadpool inspired color scheme and design, mainly because I thought it'd be really cool. I just thought it'd be really cool, honestly. Finally, to round out our developer trio is Cindering, the mind behind Roblox High School, not to be confused with Robloxian High School. I gave him the fire element, as, well, he's cindering, and his avatar is very, very red. For the recolor, I made him purple, because purple is the opposite of red on the light spectrum, and I thought purple would look cooler on him. The next 2 people on my list are actually requests. Our next person is Dogmations, requested by the man himself. I went with Magic, mainly due to how his character is portrayed in the Brown 890 series. See these videos to understand, as he is the owner of a shattered sword who contain Shattered Dog, who we'll cover in a second. Then, for the recolor, I focused on the color red, as, once again, it's on the opposite end of the light spectrum, with purple being on the opposite end of red, and purple being associated with Shattered Dog, who, once again, we'll cover in a second or so. And it's been a second or so now we have Shattered Dog, who is Dogmation's OC, and I gave him the undead element. The reason for this is in the video that unveils his lore, it shows how he/his soul got into the sword. And I might be mishearing the line, but I'm pretty sure Arceus says that doing this will kill him. And if that's the case, then Shattered Dog is, in fact, undead or back from the dead. So it fits! Now for his recolor, I made him very purple. And once again, it's because it's the opposite of red on the light spectrum, and Shattered Dog is associated with the color purple due to his origin. And finally, to end things off, I gave myself some Skylanders. Ha ha ha! Starting with myself, or rather my avatar Silver, I gave her the air element. And then for a recolor, I decided to remove her skeletal fur pattern. And to properly end things off, here's one of my OCs, Rusty, represented by the life element. I was going to do tech, but since her character more revolves around flora, I decided to go with life instead. And for her recolor, I decided to remove her rust and turn her plants into metal. Alright, so that was turning Roblox YouTubers into Skylanders Part 2. Except I did more than YouTubers, so the title isn't 100% true. This video took way longer than I hoped, although half of that was once again a loss in motivation. I don't think there will ever be a part 3, but things may change. Also, I don't usually do requests, but that also may change. All creators will have links to their channels below, although I'm unsure if the devs have their own channels. Instead, I'll just link to their Roblox profiles, and I encourage you to support these creators as they are all very talented people. And with that, the video is over. Goodbye! Alright, editing Galactic here. There were 2 designs I wanted to slightly update as I feel they could be a bit better than they previously were, so I'm just going to quickly show those off. The first one is with Jaden on his recolor. I made his halo thing white when I feel like I really should have made it black to better mesh with the rest of the figure, so I'm just changing that so it's not like a harsh contrast with the rest of the figure. The second change is with Damien's figure. I don't know why I made the beaks and feet of these chickens pink. They just don't look good, so I decided to make them grayscale to better fit with everything. So yeah, that's about it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Goodbye for real.